Hello there! In this code flow tutorial, we're going to be talking about HTML entities. Let's go. Now, about HTML entities, this context is going to be much more easier for people that have actually tried to use Adobe Dreamweaver. In Adobe Dreamweaver, you can basically just type sites and create your visual look, and just even you can even create the visual look itself, and it's going to program itself. That's basically what Adobe Dreamweaver does the most in the best way. But actually, sometimes you discover that sometimes when you actually add a space bar in the maybe like a mistake, just a space bar, it's called that it writes some weird symbols like maybe those and then NBSP. So it's kind of funny actually that you don't actually understand what that means, and maybe I don't. But actually, the truth is that we have what we call HTML entities, and basically what they do is that they're just some special characters that are reserved in HTML. Have you ever wondered about how we can write less than symbol, or how we can write greater than symbol, or how we can just write maybe how to all the space bar, all those and all those euros, cents, dollars, maybe a bit of copyright or even a bit of registered trademark. And also not only this, maybe a bit of writing diacritic marks. And when you want to put those A, it's for people that if you want to write Yoruba for a website, we actually have those diacritic mark we add on some of the Yoruba words. And so for that kind of reason we have diacritic marks. And we have a way of actually, using them in HTML. So right now let's jump back into our Visual Studio Code and let's create a comment. Let's write making an HTML entity, which is quite amazing. So right now let's go into making our first entity, and the first one I'm going to making use of is the non-breaking space. It's the most popular one, the non-breaking space. And let's just, how can we actually know that we are writing non-breaking space? Let's create a keyword. This is code flow and we love the Net Ninja. This guy is so good. Now, when we say this is code flow and we love the Net Ninja, how do we actually write in a bit of some of those character entities? Just put and, then you can put NBSP. You can see, and NBSP, this has given us a breaking space. You can copy this and paste it. Oh, sorry. You can, copy this, Ctrl C, then paste this, paste this, paste this, and paste this. Now save this, and by the time you go back to your Chrome and you preview this, and you scroll down, you can see that we have a bit of some space here, which shows the relative importance of the non-breaking space, the N symbol and the NBSP. Now that's not the only thing we can actually do. Let's try and add a bit of some symbols. Okay, I want to add the greater than sign, the greater than symbol. Okay, this is the greater than symbol. Now after I write this is the greater than symbol, I can just add a bit of the non-breaking space and NBSP, and I'm going to have this semicolon. Please don't forget to always add your semicolon when you actually use this HTML entities. It's very important. Now I want to write the greater than symbol. We use the entity, the and symbol, and GT, and put this in there, and that's all. So basically we've just actually written the greater than symbol. Please note that in HTML entities we have what we call the entity name, and sometimes we can also use the entity number. Okay, we're going to use that in the next example. So right now let's save this, and by the time we go back to our Chrome and we preview this, you can see this is the greater than symbol, and we have the symbol right by its side. Now the question is, if you actually try to write this greater than symbol, we're actually going to be trying to create this tag is going to conflict with things like this or even things like this. So that's why even if you want to write slash or want to write dot, it's going to be conflicting with some of the things of the functions of the HTML. So that's why. So definitely, let's just try and copy this. We can copy this, then we can paste this right here and change this to the less than symbol. So for the less than symbol, we definitely know that it is not this. We can just press the and we can just add in our less than symbol, which is and. We have IT. Sorry, we have and healthy. And yeah, actually I cannot actually remember all of this though. So I actually go to W3 schools. They have a very good list of all those HTML entities and symbols. That's why I'm actually trying to get my memory back from. So we have the and in LT, and we have those semicolon. Once we save this and we go back to our Chrome and preview this, we can see that we kind of have the less than symbol right by its side. But also I think that we also have the entity numbers. You can use the entity numbers, right? So let's try to change this to and. But to write the entity numbers, we use the and we use the hash. The and the hash. Then I want to write hash, I can put 60. And that means the less than symbol and 60, and let's put a semicolon and let's save this. So by the time I go back to my Chrome and I preview this, you can see that we still have the same less than symbol, which shows that they mean the same thing. The entity and the numbers, they mean the same thing. So right now let's try something else entirely. We've tried a bit of the HTML entities. Let's try a bit of writing copyright mark. Let's we can just paste what we were saying earlier, and let's write this is a Paracure content. Now we want to add a bit of a copyright to it. How do we do that? We use the and symbol and the simple word copy. See, that's pretty simple. We use the pretty word copy and we save this, and by the time we go back to our Chrome and we preview this, we can see this is the Paracure content with the copyright mark. Now the same thing, we can actually do it for the trademark, and in just a few minutes let's try that. Let's try and do something for the trademark, and this time around we're going to be using the HTML entities. We're going to be using the HTML symbols, the entity symbols, numbers, not the symbols itself. Right now let's just erase this and let's write the trademark. We're going to use the and we're going to use a bit of the hashtag, then 174 and a semicolon, and let's save this. And by the time we go back to our Chrome and we preview this, we can actually see that we have a registered trademark R right here. So basically that's just a bit of what we can actually do with HTML entities and symbols. Let's quickly go through the diacritic mark. So we can actually make use of them in combining diacritic mark with what we are doing. So the question is, how do we actually do that? Let's try and create some diacritic marks. So I want to actually paste a bit of this content, and to create diacritic mark, as usual, we have the entity, we call it the construct. For the diacritic mark, we call it the construct. So right now let's just create the and. We'll make use of the word we want to use. Let's say we want to add the diacritic mark to O, and we can add the and symbol, then a bit of hash. Then I think I want to add a diacritic mark, like maybe just a bit of a caret on top of the O and hash. Then I add 770 and a bit of semicolon, and we can just save this. Now where this can become useful, like, okay, I want to talk about house, HOUSE. Okay, so that's me adding a diacritic mark. Let me save this, and by the time we go to our Chrome and we preview this, we can actually see that when we scroll down, we can see that the O on the house actually has a diacritic mark. There are many more diacritic marks. We have the ones for if you want to write A, if you want to write, okay, let's say I want to put this to A. I want to have okay, this is I want to write house. Let me write app. Okay, I want the diacritic mark on top of the app, and once we go back to Chrome and we preview this, we can see that we have those caret on top of the app. We also have other diacritic marks, like just a bit of when you're trying to have this there's some those punctuation mark that shows possession at times, or that punctuation mark like that, we call them diacritic marks though, because they reside on top of the text itself. So for that kind of reason, we have a lot of diacritic marks in HTML. So you can check out W3 Schools. They've got a very good look at the list of the diacritic marks, HTML entities, HTML symbols, and everything. So make sure you check it out. And actually, if you love what we're doing, please share the tutorial with your friends. And in next tutorial, we're going to talk more about HTML5 semantics. So I'll see you in next tutorial. Thank you.